Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the channel. We have a number of news stories for you guys today. We're going to talk about the semi-breaking news that came out earlier on. Firstly, thank you so much for all the kind messages. I'm still feeling ill. I've got this massive stomach bug, and it's a stomach flu, they say, and I should be recovering. But I noticed there's a couple of very important things happened earlier on that we should talk about today throughout the day. So we're going to be doing that. So first, let's talk about what just happened at the Court of Appeal. 2 days after the government, Rishi Sunak's government, decided to bin the British Bill of Rights, we've just had a decision from the Court of Appeal that the Rwanda plan has now been blocked because Rwanda is not safe. First, let's go to the judgment that we have from these judges, and then we're going to come back, get the reaction from Richard Tice, the leader of Reform UK, but also some quotes from the Tory MPs, as well as the reaction from the Prime Minister. What is going on with Rishi Sunak? We also have a live poll in the live chat. I asked you guys, what do you think will happen next? Not what should happen. What do you think will happen next? 11% of you believe Rishi Sunak will win the fight in the Supreme Court. 18% believe Suella Braverman will resign and become a rebel. 12% believe that the Tories will leave ECHR. And 57% believe that every move will fail and the Tories will be punished. First, let's go to the Court of Appeal.
The deficiencies in the asylum system in Rwanda are such that there are substantial grounds for believing that there is a real risk that persons sent to Rwanda will be returned to their home countries where they faced persecution or other inhumane treatment when in fact they have a good claim for asylum. In that sense, Rwanda is not a safe third country. That conclusion is founded on the evidence which was before the High Court that Rwanda's system for deciding asylum claims was, in the period up to the conclusion of the Rwanda agreement, inadequate. The court is unanimous in accepting that the assurances given by the Rwandan government were made in good faith and were intended to address any defects in the asylum process. However, the majority believes that the evidence does not establish that the necessary changes had by then been reliably effected, or would have been at the time of the proposed removals. In consequence, sending anyone to Rwanda would constitute a breach of Article 3 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which Parliament has required the government to comply with.
Here we go. Then at the end he mentioned the European Convention on Human Rights. Everything goes back to ECHR, and as I said, considering only 2 days ago the government announced that they're going to be binning the British Bill of Rights that were to essentially replace ECHR. This judgment came in today, so perfect timing, you idiots. So we know that none of this was supposed to be a solution. We knew that this is always going to be a big problem. Now those who are celebrating this judgment don't really understand that you're going to put more people's lives at risk as well. The same refugees and migrants that the political left have been supporting, you're going to get more of them to get on these dangerous boats, and they're going to lose their lives, and it's because of the political left championing this policy. So, and we got legal migrants who are still in the queue to be processed. We got ordinary people here who have been affected by it, and nobody in the establishment seems to care about it. We have Simon Clarke, who was a big ally of Liz Truss. He's also now ousted. He's now in Rebel. He's come out to say that if the ECHR continues to forestall this, we have to revisit the question of our membership. No one's going to listen to Simon Clarke, unfortunately, in the current establishment, and everything goes back to the fundamental problem of our lack of sovereignty and independence in this country. I'm going to come to the live chat as well, get your reaction, by the way. So it's going to be quite difficult, but I'm still trying to recover from my illness. Try to focus. All right, we also have the establishment people. Penny Mordaunt says that she does respect the court's decision that the Rwanda policy is unlawful. Of course, Penny Mordaunt would say that. I mean, what do you expect? She's a liberal Tory. She probably would never actually even liked the Rwanda policy. So that's the reaction from Penny Mordaunt. But we also have Richard Tice, the leader of Reform UK, who came out and said this.
Well, there you have it. The vast majority of the British people want to stop the boats. But the British establishment will not allow this to happen. Yesterday, the House of Lords did their bit, stopping the illegal migration bill. And today, we've seen the Court of Appeal that will also not allow the boats to be stopped. This will be the defining issue of the next general election, because the British people want the boats stopped, but the establishment will not let it happen. Only Reform UK will stand clearly on a 6-point plan to stop the boats. Only Reform UK is standing up for the majority of the British people.
Yeah, so that was Richard Tice. It is fascinating how the Tories seem to be not really kicking off. So the Tories in government, they seem to be very calm and collected about this decision. If it were any other government, any other political party in charge, they will be showing outrage. The only thing we heard is from the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. We got this statement saying, "While I respect the court, I fundamentally disagree with their conclusions." I'm proud of you. "I strongly believe that the Rwandan government have provided the assurances necessary to ensure that there is no real risk that asylum seekers relocated under the Rwanda policy would be wrongly returned to the third countries. Something that the Lord Chief Justice agrees with. Rwanda is a safe country. The High Court agrees, and the UNHCR have their own refugee scheme for Libyan refugees in Rwanda. We will now seek permission to appeal this decision to the Supreme Court. The policy of this government is very simple. It is this country and your government who should decide who comes here, not criminal gangs. And I will do whatever is necessary to make that happen." So you can clearly tell that Rishi Sunak is panicking, and he's now relying on the Supreme Court to come to his defense. Considering the recent precedents of the Supreme Court with their decisions on various things, including Brexit, I'm not going to hold my breath anytime soon. So it is absolutely chaotic. So what do we have for you guys? He needs a plan beyond the Supreme Court. Yeah, they need to announce the plan B, which is having a discussion about membership of ECHR. You can't really do that. Ian says UN immigration agenda. There's so many discussions. Even the Convention on Refugees, on United Nations Convention, that has to also be sorted out. Obviously there's a couple of people on the live chat I saw earlier that were talking about how the only solution is changing the voting system to proportionate representation. The problem with that is that while the current system, first past the post, is not perfect, if you do basic homework, you could tell that when it comes to PR, that will help. There's smaller left-wing parties, because there are a lot of left-wing parties, smaller parties, and radical parties. They're going to take control. Yeah, but if you have PR, you're not going to get Reform UK forming in government. It's not going to happen. And the only way you're going to have it is you're going to have smaller parties, the Green and all the others, and they're going to form a coalition every single time with the Labour Party and the others. That's the default position. Look at Germany, and you can see the situation in there. Even though they try to amend the model over the last few decades, that's not really the full solution. Because those who want the system to change, the voting system, you got it from all sides. You got left-wingers, you got right-wingers. Everybody's doing it because of intention, not the outcome. So everyone cares about the intent. They say, well, I'm angry because my feelings hurt. My feelings are anger. So I just want to change the system without thinking about the outcome. Obviously, we know the system should change. We're all arguing for the same thing. But if you go with, okay, what's the solution? The first thing you pick up the shelf, like, okay, Jeremy Corbyn said PR, so I'm going to go with that solution. And Reform UK will be in government. That's not how it works. And it will be backfiring massively on the whole country. And no centre-right party will win that way. People traffickers love the EU and ECHR. It promotes their business model. Yes, we know that. What else do we have? Clarky Mark says, vote Reform, you get a bigger Labour majority. Vote Tory, you get Labour policies anyway. That's a good point. Yep. Regardless of what you do, you get Labour in return. And what do we have? Ray says, PR is the norm in the EU, and look at the trouble they have in their politics. Absolutely. Yeah, there has to be a new version of things. We can't just pick any solution that's already been proposed because they don't work. It's like saying, well, crony capitalism or corporatism doesn't work. What should we do? Oh, yes, there's one solution: communism. You can't do that. That makes no sense. Right. Yeah, we got some Reform UK supporters. Andy says reform all the way now. The problem we have is that, again, regardless of which political party is in power, even leaving ECHR will be problematic for the establishment, because there will be civil servants and the BBC and the courts. They will try their best to even stop you from leaving ECHR. So we need a strong leader who just says, I don't care about what you say. We have a mandate from the British public. We're doing it. So that's what we need. And if you believe that Richard Tice could be that leader, then fine. Unless we have a different party or different leader. But again, it's very difficult to guess right now. And I can see in the comment section there are also people talking about other news stories. You can see in the ticker we are going to be talking about other things throughout the day as well, including what happened to Nigel, what's been happening to Nigel Farage and his bank account. I'm in touch with Nigel and his team as we speak, trying to get more updates on that front as well. All right, so let's go back to the live poll. I asked you guys, what do you think will happen next? 6% believe that Rishi Sunak will win the fight in the Supreme Court. 26% believe Suella Braverman will resign and become a rebel. 13% will believe that the Tories will leave ECHR. And 55% believe that every single move that the government will make, they will fail, and the Tory government will be punished. So I think at this point my feelings go to the latter as well. They don't seem to be having any concrete plan when it comes to plan B. So it won't be surprising at all. Adrian says, no, not surprised at all. Those who are in power are really out of touch with reality. Ian says, national emergency, close the borders. And Dee says, ignoring the will of the people leads to revolution. And Harry says, I could not bear the establishment ridding Nigel from England. I am English and Nigel has a place here. Yeah, we're going to be discussing all that in full later on the channel, the situation with Nigel Farage. But again, the problem we have is that I predicted this, 6 months ago. And also in recent times, well, a few months ago when the government won their main court case with the Rwanda plan, I did say, wait for the Court of Appeal. These guys are going to block it. And they did. So we'll wait and see what the reaction is going to be from Downing Street and how everything goes with the Supreme Court, and whether Suella Braverman will stand alone or will she support Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister. We don't know. But let me know what you think, obviously, in the comment section, in the live chat. We are going to come back regularly throughout the day. I'm trying to rest and do some work at the same time, still recovering from that stomach flu. Thank you so much for all the kind messages. Make sure, if you want to cheer me up, subscribe to the channel. Click on the subscribe button and the like button, because we're getting very, very close to 300,000 subscribers. If you could help share this video, share the channel with everybody, that will be appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mahyar, and we are the media.